Hello everyone, Teruvan Sarnai to all dear Dhamma friends. Today also I would like to welcome every one of you for the Empty Cloud Monastery. I am Bhante Pesala from Labunurukand Forest Monastery in northern province of north central province of Sri Lanka. It's a great pleasure to meet you all and to talk to you about Dhamma, our great teachers' noble teachings. So, after the talk, I will be pleased to answer your questions. And before we begin the talk, let's invite all the Deva to join with us. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunanto Sagga Mukhadang Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Badanta. And also, let's begin the talk by paying homage to the Samma Sambuddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammam sangham namassami. Dear Dhamma friends, today as we have planned, we are about to discuss yet another very beautiful and valuable sutra discussion. Today, the sutta is from Samyutta Nikaya, chapter number 1, sutta number 31. The name of the sutra is known as Sabbhi Sutra. Sabbhi Sutra is about noble ones. In the Pali, it is known as Kalyana Mitta, noble one. So it teaches us the benefits of having the noble association with the Kalyana Mitta. So when you go through this sutta in the Pali canon, then you can see that there are 6 devas come to the Buddha and had a discussion about these noble friends. So, our great teacher, when he was performing his duties as the Buddha, all the all the days within a day, he have divided the daytime into 5 sectors, and they have separate. He had separately conducted Dhamma sermons and instructions to the not only the human beings. Sometimes uh, even the celestial divine beings also uh, came closer to the Buddha and asked some questions. Especially, the in a day in between 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. That is the 2 hours that Buddha had allocated for the divine beings. So, as present day human beings, we may not believe about divine beings. So in Buddhism also we are talking about divine beings or the gods, but especially not like the Almighty One. They are also kind of sentient beings, and but the thing is, those divine beings, if compared to the humans, they are having some kind of comfortable life than us. That's why they were known as divine beings. So these group of divine beings known as Satullapakaya Deva. Satullapakaya mean Satullapa mean they shouting. They were shouting about the qualities of the noble ones. That's why they were known as Satullapakaya. So in that Samyutta Nikaya, there is a separate chapter These devas all most of the time used to come to the Buddha and asking different questions about different matters. So these they were born as divine beings. If you go through the commentaries, there was a beautiful story in the previous existence. These devas, 700 groups, they were they were being born as a human beings, and during that past lives, they were doing they were vendors, they were merchants, they were doing selling of good and items uh, by going country to country. So those group of 700 people one time happened to cross the sea, cross the ocean with ships when they are transporting good and items. So when they were transporting these good and items in the ship, so unluckily, unfortunately, they had to face a huge storm in the sea, in the middle of the sea. So at that time, those merchants, without knowing what to do, and the sea storm is so powerful and impacted the waves with the sea with the ship, and ship damaged, and it begins to penetrate the water, sea water into the ship, and they were unable to perform any kind of remedy. So all of them all of all of them were moving here and there without knowing what to do, and very aggressively. But amongst them, there was a one particular person, one particular merchant. He was sitting calm and quiet, without any worrying and without any hurrying. He was just staying calmly. Then others, amazed with him, and came to him and asked, "You see, all of us, about to die, so we are worrying about our death. But you are like a yogi. You are just sitting and doing meditation. So don't you have any kind of fear of the death?" At that time, he said, uh, I don't have any kind of fear about death. That is because before we begin this voyage, so I had committed a huge sin. That means he had the opportunity to meet a group of bhikkhus, and uh, he was able to perform alms giving, and he was able to taken the refuge of triple gems, and also he observed the five precepts. So he said, "That's why I'm ready for the death. I'm not getting fear for the death." And by being heard this noble activity, the rest of the group, 699 others, they've also requesting that we also need to observe we also need to go refuge the triple gems, and also we need to observe the five precepts. So at that time, uh, since they are in the middle of the storm, so if the noise is too much, and he was unable to give them the three refuge, and also the five precepts altogether, because there are 700, not like nowadays in the ship there may be no like microphones and loudspeakers like that. So what he did was, the chief person asked everyone to be groupings, 100 groupings, so each group having 100. So he just divided them into seven groups, each group contained with 100 merchants. So the first 100 came to him, and they have taken the refuge of the triple gems, and also they have observed the five precepts. So when the first group observing the five precepts, the water level of the ship arise to the ankle level. Ankle level. So the water is getting inside the ship, and gradually water is filling the ship. So similarly, the second group also observe, taken the refuge of the triple gems, and also observe the five precepts. So when the second group's completing the task, completing the activity, the water level rised up to the knee level. And the third group, when they observe the task, when they observe the when they done this activity, the water level raised up to the waist level. And also the fourth group, when they observe the when they taken the refuge of the triple gems, and when they observe the five precepts, water level raise up to the stomach level. The fifth one, accordingly, fifth one, when they completing the task, water level rised up to the chest. And also the sixth one, when they observe the precepts, the water level rise up to the neck level. And the last group, when they observing, when they were observing the five precepts, and when they taken the refuge of the triple gems, the water level raise up to the mouth level. So immediately after completion of the all 700, once they have taken the refuge of the triple gems and also observing the five precepts, the complete ship sink and shallowed by the water. So they have all died on the spot, and because of that great sins, they were all born as divine beings then and there in the Tawatimsa heaven. So, in the beginning, I said those group of devas known as Satullapakaya deva. Satullapakaya means, as I said, as 100, they were shouting about, by shouting, they have taken the refuge of the triple gems, as well as they have observed the five precepts. That's why they were known as Satullapakaya deva. So, these deva, immediately after reborn in the Tawatimsa heaven, they just investigate what was the reason that we all have get this kind of blessings, this kind of happiness, because how do we get this kind of blessing? Then immediately they have seen, they could observe that in the previous existence they were merchants, and because of a lucky leader of their group, they were able to observe, taken the refuge of the noble triple gems, and also they were able to observe the five precepts. So then they were really enjoying and happy about their gains. And immediately after that, six or seven of them reaches to the Buddha, arrived to the Buddha, uh, worshipping, and they were uttering these verses to the Buddha. By uttering these verses to the Buddha, they were expressing their ideologies, their ideas as to about the Kalyana Mittas. So first Deva came to the Buddha by illuminating, they when it is said in the Sutta that when the divine beings come to meet the Buddha during the night time, they are illuminating all the monastery, and giving, celestial being, not divine beings, not like the human beings, you know they are illuminating the environment, and they came to the Buddha and staying with the Buddha, and after worshipping the Buddha, they began to ask these questions. So one first Deva came to the Buddha and said to the Buddha, Sabbhi reva samaseta sabbhi kubbeta santavam satam saddhamma manyaya sayyo hoti na papiyo. So the first Deva said to the Buddha, Sabbhi reva samaseta. Sabbhi mean here the noble one. Sabbhi eva samaseta. So the first Deva said to the Buddha that, Venerable sir, we always should associate with the noble ones. And Sabbhi kubbeta santavan. And also he said, we always try to make connected with the noble ones. And satam saddham manyaya. And we always try to understand the noble one's teaching, noble Dhamma. We must try to understand the Dhamma. And he said, Seiyo hoti na papyo. If one perform like that, Seiyo hoti, he will he's getting better. He's not getting any worse. He's only getting better. So this is the this particular Deva said, uh, because of noble companionship, people and practitioners only getting better. They are nothing, not getting any worse. So this is the idea of the first Deva. And after him, there was a second Deva. He came to the Buddha and said the same. He also said the verses initial three uh, sentences are the same. The last one is the differ from the first one. The second Deva said, Sabbireva samaseta sabbikubbeta santavang satam saddhamma manyaya panya labbati nanyatoti. And second Deva said, we must always associate with the noble ones, and also we should make connection with the noble ones, and also satam saddhamma manya, and also we always try to understand this sublime dhamma. And that kind of person, panya labbati nanyatoti, they will have the complete wisdom, nothing else. In order to gain the full liberation, full enlightenment, the paramount factor is the panya, or the wisdom. So I explained in the previous sermons also, prajna is like a uh, light. Now we all are human beings, without knowing dhamma, without understanding the dhamma, we are in the pitch darkness of ignorance, or the avidya. So to expel that darkness, we need to have the light of the vidya, light of the wisdom. So that's why this they were said to Buddha, uh, those who are always living with the Kalyana Mittas, and those who are making connection with the Kalyana Mittas, those who are always trying to understand the Dhamma, they will getting only the getting the wisdom, nothing else. So after leaving this second Deva, the third Deva came to the Buddha, and he also said, whenever sir, Sabbireva samaseta, sabbikubbeta santavang, satam saddhamma manyaya, soka majje na sochati. Third Deva said, the one who is associating with the noble one, the one who is having lots of connection with the noble one, and the one who is trying to understand the noble sublime Dhamma, they soka majje no sochati. So among as human beings, we have to experience lots of paining and sufferings and dukkha. So amongst them, the one who practices Dhamma, he can live happily without any worrying, without any suffering. He can stay happily. So this is the idea of the third Deva. And he just went back, and the fourth Deva come to the Buddha, and he also said, Sabbireva samaseta sabbikubbeta santavang satam saddhamma manyaya nyati majje virochati. So the fourth Deva said to the Buddha, uh, the one who is associating with the noble one, and the one who tries to make connection with the noble one, and the one who's trying to understand the Dhamma, he nyati majje virochati. Amongst their relatives, he he brights, he's shining among the relatives. So it is said that if one wants to be bright, if one wants to become, uh, brighten and shining among the other group of people, so this is the way of getting that. By going through the Dhamma, he can have that. So that is the ideology of the fourth Deva. And after leaving him back, then the fifth one came to the Buddha, and he also said to the Buddha, Sabbireva samaseta sabbikubbeta santavang satam saddhamma manyaya satta gacchanti suggati. The one who associates with the Kalyana Mitta, the one who makes connection with the Kalyana Mitta, and the one who is trying to understand the Dhamma, gacchanti suggati. They always going only to the heaven. They always being born as the happy blissful abodes, or the heavens. They will be reborn only the heavens. So that is the ideology of the fifth one. Then after leaving him, then there is another Deva, sixth one, came to the Buddha and said to the Buddha, uh, by being associate with the noble one, and by being making connection with the noble one, and by trying to understand the sublime Dhamma, satta tittanti satatanti. That means sata mean here the comfort, blissfulness, pleasantness, happiness. So satta tittanti, the beings who practices Dhamma with the association of a Kalyana Mitta, they will be stuck in the happiness. That is the ideology of the sixth Deva. So after these six Devas delivering their ideologies about the Kalyana Mittas and association with the Kalyana Mittas and practicing Dhamma, try to understand the Dhamma. So then the one particular Deva came to the Buddha and asked, Vendava sir, now these six Devas have declared their different ideologies. Which one is the correct? So the Buddha said, the blessed one, he told that you all have spoken well, each in your own way. So all those ideas, they are not completely wrong. They are correct. So then Buddha said, this is what I am preaching to you. Listen to me carefully. And ultimately, as the seventh verses, our great teacher said, his uh, his idea on the association with his idea on the noble companionship. He said, "Sabbhi reva samaseta, sabbhi kubbeta santavang, satam saddhamma manyaya, sabba dukkha pamuchyati." He said, "Sabbhi reva samaseta, the one who associates with the Kalyana Mitta or the noble ones. Sabbhi Kubbeta Santava, the one who always try to make connection with the noble one. Satam Saddhamma Manyaya, the one who always try to understand Dhamma. Sabba Dukkha Pamuchyati. So those persons will be getting the deliverance from all the dukkhas. So with that words you can understand uh, the Buddha's uh, ideology about this noble companionship and hearing the Dhamma, and also the understanding the Dhamma. The Buddha appeared to this world not only for anything, but to make you understand about the dukkha nature and show us the path how to get deliverance from this dukkha. That is the purpose of appearing the Buddha. So that's why these six kind of devas, they were having different ideologies. If we take if we all take ourselves, and we all are having different ideologies about the Buddhism, and some are trying to practice Buddhism just to have the tranquility to the mind. Some are to have the samadhi into the mind, and some are just to become a good human being. So likewise, there are different purposes of practicing Buddhism, but the real and the no, the utmost purpose, the profound purpose of practicing Buddhism is just to getting deliverance from the dukkha. So that's why the Buddha said, here also, Buddha has brought the attention of every devas to the point of the dukkha. So that's why all the teachings is talking about the four noble truths. The first noble truth is the dukkha, and the second noble truth is also, when we have the attachment towards the when we have the attachment, then dukkha arises. And third noble truth, when we have no attachment, then there is no dukkha. So to have that level, we need to practice noble eightfold path. So that's why the most important part in Buddhism is to understand this dukkha nature. So you know uh, luckily most disciples cannot understand the word dukkha, because it gives us only the negative side, the painful side only. When we have, uh, painful experiences, and when we have, uh, you know uh, some kind of losses into our lives, then we feel suffering, we feel dukkha because of that. But that is not the case. The dukkha is, when we are experiencing any kind of thing in this world, so all those things, comes under the nature of impermanence. The Buddha said, Yada nichang tan dukkam. In this world, if there's anything having the nature of the impermanency, it has the nature of the dukkha. So just imagine each and every experiences, each and everything, both physical and mental, both, all the mental and materialistic and psychologist, mm, materialistic and psychological things, all the things, materialistic and non-material, everything comes under the subject of impermanence. So since all those things are comes under dukkha, and further Buddha said, Yadanichan tan dukkha, yan dukkhan tadanatta. And which is something, dukkha, it is anatta, mean it cannot be taken as me, myself, or as my soul. You cannot find an entity. So that is the, nature. So in that way, you have to understand the dukkha. So with that, we have come to the end of the sutta, and in future sessions, I would like to talk you about, by using some sutras about this dukkha. And so it is the time for answering your questions. And if you have any questions, you can comment on this, and I can answer the question. So we have received one question. Dear Bhante, Teruvan Saranai, could you please explain how to identify the good or the qualities of Kalyana Mitra? So it is very important, and that is the most troublesome and difficult thing to do. Actually, even enlightened beings come before you, by physically you cannot understand. So there was a beautiful story in previous time. Uh, uh, in the previous story in Sri Lanka, there was a enlightened being, Arhant, enlightened monk, and with him there was another bhikkhu, uh, student bhikkhu. He was become a monk after, after completion of 60 years of age. He was bit of, old age, and the people who, the one who became old age, they were not like, the young ones. They are not much obedience. They are a bit of obstinate. And that student monk asked him from the enlightened being, Venerable sir, how can we identify the enlightened beings? Then that enlightened being, Arahant one, replied to him that, my dear students, I could see some, uh, you know empty minded students, I can observe, while being with the enlightened being, being with the arahants, they were unable to recognize. So he said, still that student were unable to recognize him. That is because, as I said, by just physically seeing physical appearance, we can never identify the true kalyana mitta. So the way of understanding the Kalyana Mitta is to, the duty of the Kalyana Mitta is the most duty, just to show us the real Dhamma, true teachings. And I explained you that uh, he always focusing on his Dhamma points towards the Dhamma, not only his ideologies. Apart from Buddhism, if you take, and Some people say the words of different religious textures, scriptures. They said those are holy words. uh, you know uh, they say that those are holy words because they were revealed by they have given by the almighty beings. That's why they were known as holy words. But in Dhamma also we talk these Arya Satya, or the Four Noble Truths, as Arya mean the noble. Noble mean holy. They are known as holy, not because by so Buddha uttered. They were known as holy not because of our great teacher has uttered them. People believe them because Buddha uttered. No, not that is not the case. They are known. The Dhamma is known as noble. That is because it is the truth. When you understand, suppose I said about the dukkha, the impermanence nature, it appears in each and every experiences, each and everything we are experiencing when we are living. So it is a ultimate truth. Beyond that you cannot have any kind of truth. So that's why it is known as noble truth. Not because of our Buddha said, oh. So it is clearly important that we, maybe that the sutta that today I talked, and it said that it talked by the divine beings. So we cannot experience, no. One can question me that, Venerable sir, how we can believe about gods, whether they are or not. So just leave that side aside, but just focus on the verses and the ideologies. Then you can understand actually uh, the words are true. So in that way, if you the qualities of the Kalyana Mittas always showing the Dhamma, he focusing only the Dhamma. In that way, you can identify the true Kalyana Mitta. Where in the heavenly realm Devas in the Sutta reside. So the second celestial divine beings, Tavatimsa, 33 heavens. In Tavatimsa, the meaning of the realm was known as Tavatimsa, meaning 33 heavens. So from that heaven, they came to the Buddha and asking these questions. So only a Buddhist can become good, completely good. A practicing Buddhist, someone who has uh, understood the reality. So it is just too unfair that to say that if Buddhist are only Buddhist are the Kalyana Mitta. So it is unfair to say in my point of view. Uh, I think to become good is it's not the matter. And when you really practicing Dhamma, it is a certain factor that you won't spread any kind of negativity towards yourself as well as to the others. So hence, uh, humbly I can say the Buddhist practitioners are really good. So I cannot say that by saying that, I cannot say that only Buddhists are the good people. No, we could see some kind of others also, they're having beautiful mindsets, and hence they also good Kalyana Mitta. But as a true follower of Buddhism, they have no way of harming himself as well as to the others. Even the mindset himself, he practices much loving kindness. So in that he shares the good thoughts, positive wholesome thoughts from his mind, and he pervade those positive waves to the even to the external environment. So since that, he is a good Kalyan Mitta. So with that, these are the only questions that been asked. So with that, we let's move into the conclusion of the Dhamma talk. uh, let's do Anumodana. First of all, I would like to remind my teachers, especially my teachers, Venerable Man Kadavala Sudassana Thera, and also Venerable Man Kadavala Nandaratana Thera, and also Venerable Kotmali Kumar Kassapa Thera. And I would like to share all the merits that we have gained through this noble Dhamma sermon. And with these merits and with the infinite blessings of triple gems, may they be able to have a uh, comfortable life, and may they be able to achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana sooner. And also, I would like to remind Empty Cloud Monastery, group, especially Bhante Sudasso and Ayasoma, and all the residents of the monastery, as well as all those who participated to in this Dhamma talk in person as well as online. And I would like to share these merits with all the sentient beings. All the sentient beings may share these merits, and may they be able to have a comfortable life both here and hereafter, and may they able to find the ultimate peace of Nibbana. එත්තාවතාච අම්මේහි සම්පදං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා. එත්තාවතාච අම්මේහි සම්පදං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා. එත්තාවතාච අම්මේහි සම්පදං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා. And also, I would like to invoke and share all those merits to all sentient beings. And also, I would like to bless you all with infinite noble triple gems. Abhivadana Silis Nichang Vadaha Pachaino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayuarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Atho Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samijjatu. Thank you very much for your kind consideration, and also I shall see you in the next session. Teruvan Sarnai. Good night to everyone.